The grand marble floors echoed with silence as the tall, elegant Arab billionaire, Lina Al-Mansour, stood frozen in the doorway of her Beverly Hills mansion. Her golden silk robe fluttered slightly in the breeze from the open patio doors, but she didn't notice it. Her eyes were locked on the trembling girl standing in front of her dusty clothes, worn-out sneakers, and a scared look on her face. The girl was holding a cracked photo frame she had just dropped while cleaning the bookshelf. The glass had shattered across the floor, but that wasn't why Lina was trembling. It was the photo. It was a family picture. A picture Lina hadn't seen in over 20 years. The same picture she thought was lost in the fire that tore her family apart back in Lebanon. And now, that same picture was in the hands of her maid. Lina's voice cracked as she whispered, Where did you get this photo?" The maid looked up, her eyes wide and teary. I found it in the attic. But that's me. That's me and my sister. I lost her when I was 5. Lina's knees buckled, and she dropped to the couch. "What did you just say?" The maid's lips quivered. "My name is Amira. I've been looking for my sister for years. Her name was Lina." Lina's heart stopped. Could this poor, soft-spoken maid really be her long-lost sister? Before Lina could speak again, her phone rang. It was her private investigator, the man she'd secretly hired to look into Amira's past. His words hit her like a bolt of lightning. "Lina, I think you're not going to believe this, but she's your sister." Lina Al-Mansour was known across the U.S. as one of the richest Arab women in the country, a real estate queen, owner of luxury hotels, and a fashion icon. She had everything: money, fame, power, except one thing: family. Ever since she escaped the tragic bombing in Beirut when she was only 10, Lina had believed her entire family was gone. Her parents, her baby sister, everything had gone up in flames. She was the only one pulled from the rubble, crying and holding a teddy bear. She was adopted by a wealthy Arab-American couple and brought to the U.S. She built her empire from scratch. But every night, she would look at a burned photo of her parents and wonder, could my sister still be alive? Lina didn't trust easily, so when her assistant quit suddenly, she didn't want just anyone replacing her. She decided to temporarily manage the house staff herself, interviewing each person who walked through the gates of her hilltop mansion. That's when she met Amira. Amira was shy. Her resume was almost empty. She had worked in diners, cleaned houses, and slept in shelters. But something about her, those hazel eyes, that soft voice, the tiny scar above her left eyebrow, it all felt familiar. "I need the job, please," Amira had said, looking down. Lina wasn't sure why, but she said yes. And that was the beginning of something she never expected. At first, Amira was quiet. She kept to herself. She cleaned the rooms quickly, never made a mess, and never stole a thing. But strange things started happening. Lina once caught Amira staring at her for a long time when she thought no one was watching. Another time, she heard Amira quietly crying in the laundry room. And then there was the huminga soft Arabic lullaby that Lina hadn't heard since she was a child. One day, Lina asked, "Where did you learn that song?" Amira smiled, a little sad. "My mother used to sing it to me. Before she died in a bombing, I was 5. Lina didn't say anything, but her heart skipped. She couldn't ignore it anymore. She had her private investigator, Mr. Garrett, secretly look into Amira's past. What he found was shocking. The report came back that morning. DNA tests, hospital records, a missing child alert filed in 2005. The evidence was clear. And now, with Amira holding that photo from the attic, the same photo that Lina had believed destroyed for everything connected. But just as Lina was about to speak, a loud crash echoed outside. Tires screeched. Lina rushed to the window and her blood ran cold. A black SUV had just rammed through her front gate. Armed men stepped out, shouting in Arabic. One of them held up a photo of Amira. "We found her," one man yelled. Grab the girl! Lena's scream shook the mansion. Amira, run! Lena shouted, grabbing the frightened girl's hand. The two sisters, though, still not fully understanding their bond, raced through the marble hallway, past priceless art and golden furniture. The air was filled with the blaring sound of the alarm as motion sensors triggered across the estate. But the intruders were fast. They'd already entered the front doors, big, scary men in black coats, their faces hard, shouting commands in Arabic. One of them held a Fatoa baby photo of Amira. "We know you're here, Layla. You belong to us." Layla? Lena stopped in her tracks. That was Amira's real name. "Your name is Layla?" Lena asked, panting. Amira looked confused, then terrified. I don't know. I've heard that name before in my dreams. I don't remember anything before the shelter." It all made sense now. She was taken, hidden, raised without her real name. And someone powerful had been searching for her. 15 years earlier, after the bombing in Beirut, a young child was pulled from the rubble. Her parents were gone. Her sister, Lena, was missing. She was taken by a stranger woman who said she was a rescuer. But she was no rescuer. She was a human trafficker. She sold little Layla to a shadow group in the U.S., pretending to be a private family care agency. The little girl was passed around, forgotten, lost in the system. But somehow, she escaped when she was 13. She changed her name to Amira, lived on the streets, took small jobs, never knowing who she truly was. Until now, Lena hit a secret button near the bookshelf. A hidden door opened. "Go, Amira! Get in the safe room!" "I don't want to leave you!" Amira cried, holding Lena's hand tightly. But Lena forced her in, locked the steel door, and turned to face the hallway as the men stormed toward her. "I'm calling the police," she said boldly, grabbing her phone. But one of the men smirked. "We are not afraid of police. That girl is property of a royal family. She disappeared when she was a baby. Her bloodline is worth billions." Lena's heart dropped. Royal bloodline? Amira was not just her sister. She was royalty? "I don't care who you think she is," Lena said. "She's my sister, and you're not taking her." Suddenly, the guards Lena had hired for her mansion arrived. Guns drawn. A full-on fight broke out in the hallway. Glass shattered. Statues crashed. Amira watched from a tiny screen inside the safe room, tears running down her face. "I don't understand," she whispered. "Who am I? Who are these people? Why do they want me?" Just as things looked worse, a man in a dark blue suit arrived outside with 2 police officers. His name was Prince Karim, a wealthy diplomat from the Middle East and, apparently, Amira's real cousin. He had been tracking her for years. "This is madness," Prince Karim shouted. "Stop this now. She is not a prisoner. She is a missing child from our family. She was stolen and lost in America. We just want her safe." The lead intruder yelled, "She's worth millions to the wrong people. You can't stop this." But the police had already drawn their weapons. "Drop your guns," an officer shouted. Within seconds, the intruders were handcuffed and dragged away. Lena ran to the safe room, opened the door, and pulled Amira into her arms. "You're safe now," she whispered. Later that night, the mansion was quiet again. Police cars had left. Prince Karim sat with Lena and Amira in the golden living room, drinking tea. "You both were separated in the worst way," he said gently. "But your bond, your blood, brought you back together." Amira looked at Lena. "Why didn't I remember you? You were too little. But I always remembered you, every single night." Lena pulled out a necklace. It was broken, with a small heart locket. Inside was a faded photo of 2 little girls holding hands. "This was yours," she said. Amira touched it and cried, "I feel like I'm dreaming." Lena hugged her tighter. "You're not. You're home." Just as things began to calm, Lena's phone rang again. This time, it was Mr. Garrett, her investigator. "I don't want to scare you," he said, voice low, "but the men who came for her, they weren't the only ones. There's another group, more dangerous, and they're already in the country. Lena's eyes widened. What do they want? He replied coldly. To erase her, and anyone who knows who she is. Lena looked at Amira, peacefully asleep on the couch. She had just gotten her sister back, and now she had to protect her from something even bigger. Lena couldn't sleep. Her mansion was quiet again, but her heart was heavy. She sat by the window, watching the moon reflect off her swimming pool. Inside, her newly discovered sister Amira, or Layla, was asleep in the guest room, curled under a soft blanket. Just hours ago, she had been a maid. Now she was the long-lost sister of one of the richest Arab women in the U.S. and a missing royal from a powerful Middle Eastern family. But Lena couldn't forget the words of Mr. Garrett. There's another group, more dangerous. They're already in the country. Who were they? What did they want from Amira? Why now, after all these years? The next morning, as the sunlight poured in through the tall windows, Amira slowly opened her eyes. Her head was heavy from the night before, but her heart was full of questions. She saw the necklace Lena had given her resting on the table. She picked it up and gently turned the broken heart over. Click. Something popped open. A hidden compartment. Inside, folded tightly, was a tiny piece of paper. Her hands shook as she opened it. The handwriting was old and faded. In Arabic, it said, Layla, my sweet girl, if you are reading this, it means we were separated. Never forget your name. Never forget your sister. Trust no strangers. You are the future of our people, Mama. Amira gasped. Her eyes filled with tears. Mama left me this? Lena came in with tea. What's wrong? Amira showed her the paper. Lena took one look and dropped the cup. Mom wrote this, Lena whispered. She must have known someone was going to take you. The room felt cold. They both sat in silence, realizing this wasn't just about a maid and a billionaire. This was a stolen legacy. That afternoon, Prince Karim called again. We found something, he said. The group that came for Layla is connected to a private army working with black market traffickers. They're being paid by someone inside our own royal family, someone who doesn't want Layla to reclaim her birthright. Why? Lena asked. Because if the world finds out Layla is alive, she becomes the legal heir to over $800 million in hidden family assets. Lena froze. And that's not all, Karim added. They've already sent someone to finish the job. A man named Basim, trained in disguise. He could be anyone, a driver, a delivery man, even someone on your staff. Suddenly, a knock at the door made Lena jump. It was a delivery. A man in a blue uniform stood outside holding a box of flowers. He smiled too much. Amira stepped forward to answer. Wait! Lena shouted, grabbing her arm. She ran to the door herself. Who sent these? She asked. The man smiled. No name, just said, to the one who doesn't belong. That was the signal. She knew it. She slammed the door and hit the security lock. Amira, go to the panic room. Now. But why? Amira asked, confused. Lena didn't explain. She already had her phone out. Garrett, we found him. He's here. Inside the panic room, Amira sat on the floor, hugging her knees. She was scared. She didn't want to live in a golden cage. She wanted to be normal. She wanted to go back to cleaning, laughing with the cook, feeding the birds by the fountain. But she also wanted answers. Who was trying to hurt her? What made her so important? She whispered to herself, I wish Mama was here. Then she remembered something. Mama used to write in a red notebook. She stood up and searched the safe room shelves. After a few minutes, behind an old stack of books, she found it. A red notebook. The first page said, To Layla, for the day you come home. Upstairs, Lena and Prince Karim sat with Mr. Garrett. They had a map open. There's only one way to protect Amira now, Karim said. We have to make the world think she's dead. What? Lena gasped. It's the only way, Garrett added. We fake her death, move her under a new name, and keep her hidden until the people after her are taken down." "But she just got her life back," Lena whispered. "And I just got my sister." Amira opened the door behind them. She had overheard everything. Her voice was small, but strong. "If it keeps us alive, I'll do it." But none of them saw the shadowy figure standing outside the mansion gate, watching through binoculars. Bassem had found her, and this time, he wasn't alone. The sun hadn't even risen yet when a black hearse pulled out of Lena Al-Mansour's mansion. Inside it was a small, closed coffin, draped in white cloth. Behind the hearse, a limo followed slowly. Inside were Lena, Prince Karim, and Amira disguised in a black wig, sunglasses, and a long coat. She was pretending to be one of the staff. News had already spread. Amira, the young maid, tragically died in a fire. Reporters gathered outside the cemetery. Flashbulbs popped. Nobody suspected the truth. But it was all a lie. They had faked Amira's death to save her life. Now, as the fake funeral began, somewhere far away from the public eye, Bassem watched from a distance. He stood behind a tall tree, wearing a priest's robe and dark glasses. "She's not dead," he said into his earpiece. "They're hiding her." A voice replied, "Then finish what we started. Tonight." 2 nights ago, inside the safe room, Amira had sat quietly flipping through pages of her mother's red notebook. It was filled with stories, secrets, and a list of names. One name was circled over and over: General Nasser el-Rahim. She read aloud, "If anything happens to me or Layla, it's because of him." Amira rushed to Lena and Prince Karim. "Who is this man?" she asked. Karim's face went pale. "That's the man who tried to seize control of our family's wealth after the bombings. He claimed you were dead. He wanted the money. If the truth comes out now, he loses everything." "And he sent those men?" Amira asked. "Yes," Karim said, "and Bassem works for him." Lena clenched her fists. "We're not just protecting Amira anymore. We're about to destroy a whole criminal empire." That night, Amira stayed in a secret safe house in the Hollywood Hills. She was no longer allowed to use her real name. Her ID was changed. Her phone was wiped. She was now Sana Malik, a girl with no past. But the danger had only grown. At exactly midnight, the power in the safe house cut out. Everything went dark. Lena, who was staying with Amira, grabbed a flashlight and whispered, "Stay close." Suddenly, the glass shattered in the back window. A red smoke bomb rolled in. Sirens wailed. The guards outside shouted, "They're here!" Someone screamed. Lena pushed Amira into the back hallway. "Go through the tunnel! Go now!" Amira ran, coughing from the smoke. She found the small trap door behind the bookshelf. Lena had shown her earlier, just in case. She crawled through the tight space, heart pounding. Behind her, she heard footsteps. Running. Then silence. Hours later, they were safe. Amira sat in a hidden underground shelter, wrapped in a blanket, shaking. Lena was on the phone, yelling at Mr. Garrett. How did they find the safe house? Garrett's voice was tight. "There's a mole, someone close to you. We're running background checks now." Lena looked around the room, her lawyer, her assistant, even her chef. Could one of them be working for General Nasser? Amira whispered, Maybe I should just leave. Disappear. I don't want anyone else to get hurt." Lena kneeled beside her and held her hands. "You're my sister. I've already lost you once. I'm not losing you again. But I'm just a girl who used to scrub floors." "No," Lena said firmly. "You're a queen." Later that night, Prince Karim arrived with a USB stick. "I think it's time Amira sees who she really is," he said. They plugged the stick into the TV. It was an old security camera video, grainy, date stamped April 17, 2005. In the video, a 5-year-old girl was screaming in a burning building. A soldier in black gear grabbed her and ran. As he carried her away, The child kept crying one word. "Lena, Lena." Amira gasped. "That's me." Kareem paused the video. "The man who took you? That's Basim. He's the one who kidnapped you after the bombing." Amira stared at the screen. "I know that scream. I remember that day. I was looking for you." Lena covered her mouth. Tears streamed down her face. "I was there. I saw the flames. I thought you were gone." They hugged tightly, both shaking. But then the screen went black, and a new video popped up. It wasn't on the USB. It was a live feed. Basim's face appeared on screen, smirking. "I told you I'd finish this." Behind him, they saw someone tied to a chair, Mr. Garrett. And Basim said two words that made Lena scream. "Checkmate, princess." Basim's face filled the screen. Behind him, Mr. Garrett was tied to a chair, bruised and bleeding. His eyes begged for help. Lena stood frozen. Amira gripped the edge of the table, her heart racing. Basim smirked. "You faked her death. Impressive. But you should have known I don't stop until I finish my job." Lena shouted at the screen. "What do you want?" Basim leaned closer. "I want what was promised to me. Power. Silence. And for your little sister to disappear for good this time." Then the screen went black. A silence filled the room that felt louder than any scream. Lena, Amira, and Prince Kareem met in the war room downstairs where maps, photos, and phone lines covered the walls. They were tired of hiding. It was time to end this. "We need to get Garrett back," Amira said. "And stop Basim." "No," Lena replied. "You've been through enough." But Amira stood tall, her voice calm but strong. "I may not remember everything about my past, but I know this. I'm not going to be scared anymore. I'm not the maid. I'm not the orphan. I'm your sister, and I'm ready." Prince Kareem nodded slowly. "Then we do this together." That night, the plan began. They let a false rumor spread online. Newly discovered royal to attend gala in Beverly Hills. They made sure the right ears heard it. Meanwhile, the real plan was in motion. The gala was fake, but the location Basim was using, real. Lena had tracked the signal from the hacked video. A warehouse outside Los Angeles. Hidden cameras were placed. Drones hovered nearby. U.S. federal agents, alerted by Kareem's diplomatic contacts, surrounded the area quietly. Amira disguised herself and arrived with Lena in a limo. She wore her mother's old scarf, the red one with gold trim, a symbol from their royal family. As they stepped into the warehouse, Basim came out from the shadows, clapping slowly. "Well done, girls," he said. "You lured me out." "We didn't," Amira said. "You trapped yourself." At that moment, boom doors burst open. Agents stormed the warehouse, guns raised. Basim pulled out a small pistol and grabbed Mr. Garrett by the throat. "I'll shoot him." Lena raised her hands. "You don't have to do this." Basim's eyes were wild. "Yes, I do. I was promised a fortune if she stayed gone." Amira stepped forward. "No more lies," she said. "Let him go and take me." Lena gasped. "Amira, no!" Basim was confused. "What are you doing?" "I'm not hiding anymore," Amira said calmly. "If you want to end this, look me in the eyes while you do it." Basim looked into her face, and something strange happened. He lowered the gun, just a little. "You were just a baby," he whispered. "I didn't want to take you." Suddenly, crack! A sniper dart hit Basim's arm. He fell, unconscious. Mr. Garrett was safe. It was over. The next day, reporters filled the streets. But this time, not about a maid or a fake funeral. The headlines read, "Missing Royal Sister Found. Human Trafficking Network Exposed." Amira sat beside Lena on the mansion's garden steps, sipping tea. She wore a simple white dress. The red scarf rested on her shoulders. "I still feel like that maid sometimes," Amira said softly. Lena smiled. "You'll always be you. Brave, honest, strong. But now, you're also free." Amira looked up at the sky. "Do you think Mama would be proud?" Lena nodded, eyes shining. "She'd say, 'You brought our family back.'" Later that evening, as Amira unpacked an old trunk Kareem had brought from the Middle East, she found one last envelope. Inside was a letter with the royal family seal. It was from their father. "If you are reading this, it means you have survived the storm. You, my daughters, are the future. Protect each other, lead with truth, and know that our family's strength was never in our wealth, but in our love." Tears filled Amira's eyes. She turned to Lena and whispered, "I'm home." And for the first time in 20 years, both sisters smiled without fear. If you like this story, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel for more interesting stories.